Hi everybody, I'm Sable Danielle and I'm a human design coach and sound healer. And today I wanted to get on here and talk about this trending Katt Williams interview because we can learn so many things about Katt Williams through his human design. And I thought that it would be really cool to be able to pinpoint parts of his personality and his traits or things that came through in that interview to his human design energy that he was born with to help you all understand a little bit better, and also to help you pinpoint things within yourself so that you can understand what the different centers mean. So let's dive in. When I was watching the interview, I noticed a few things about Katt Williams. He's unapologetically himself. He stands firmly in his authentic self. He's gifted and has a captivating way of speaking and telling a story and getting his audience's attention, and he speaks with so much confidence, and how can you not believe him? It kind of sounds like when he speaks, that's just how confidently things come out of his mouth. And also, he doesn't seem to initiate very much. Like he said, he doesn't really respond much, and he kind of waits for a platform that feels good to him. So I was wondering if maybe he was like a manifesting generator, but I looked it up and he's actually a generator. So that means that he's passionate about his work. Just a few reminders about generators. He's passionate about his work. He doesn't exhaust his energy very easily. He's has Energizer Bunny type of energy, and he's meant to exhaust his energy on a daily basis doing things that are fulfilling to him and that are aligned with his purpose. And so with this interview, I noticed that he didn't seek out a platform to speak about everything that all of the other comedians were saying or to have his response to whatever people were saying. He sat back and he waited for an aligned opportunity to approach him or come to him, which was Shannon Sharp. They approached him for the interview and it was aligned, and he said yes. And then we have all of these crazy memes, all of these words that came out of his mouth, all of the surprise, the surprise energy that started off the new year because of him waiting to make an aligned decision. I feel like if he would have initiated a response on his own Instagram, or maybe reached out to someone so that he could do an interview to respond to whatever other people were saying, maybe the impact wouldn't be as strong. Maybe his words wouldn't be so viral. Maybe he wouldn't be trending. Maybe we wouldn't even have heard about it too much, But since he sat back and waited for an aligned opportunity to come to him as a generator, because generators' strategy is meant to respond, he was able to capitalize off of this by making it an aligned decision that went viral and is trending everywhere. So after looking at his body graph, yes, he's a generator, but when you break down the energies of each center that he was born with, who he is makes so much sense. So first and foremost, he has a defined throat center, and this is what his throat center looks like. It's not very surprising that he has a defined throat center because he uses his voice for a living, and it seems like it's pretty easy for him to manifest and bring things into fruition and to have his own voice. Like I said earlier, he has a captivating voice. He's a man that can talk, and when he talks, he speaks with confidence, and you listen. You really have no choice but to listen because the frequency of his voice is just that, as very captivating, strong, confident. You can't miss it, and it kind of pulls you in. And that comes from the defined, reliable, consistent energy that he was born with within his throat center. So some traits of having a defined throat center are the ability to manifest, the ability to communicate, the ability to captivate your audience and tell a very amazing story. You're very good at storytelling, and you speak with confidence, and when you speak, you make things happen, and you have strong opinions, 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 and you have strong everything that has happened from this interview, people hearing him and taking little clips of what he's saying and having an opinion about it, all stem from him having a defined throat center. So he also has a defined identity center. This is what it looks like. And he said in his interview that pretty much since he was a kid, he knew his purpose. He knew he had to leave Ohio. He knew what he had to do to go the right direction in his life, and he knows what his purpose is. He knows who he is. He knows strongly what's good for him, what's not good for him, and who he's meant to be. And that comes from having a defined identity center. The identity center is when you have defined, reliable, consistent energy within your identity center, and that allows you to have reliable, consistent knowing of who you are, having a strong direction in life, having a strong purpose in life, and just like knowing what it is. You're not really impacted by the energy or influences around you or their purposes. You know what yours is, you're going to stick to it, you're going to go because you just have a strong feeling of what that is and who you are. And you stand strongly in who you are. And one thing Katt Williams is not afraid to do is stand strongly in who he is. That entire interview was him being himself. And I said what I said. I am who I am. This is what happened. This is my truth. So take it or leave it. I don't have anything else to say about it. Like, I don't need to convince you because this is just me. And so that comes from having a defined identity center and also a defined throat center, because you have both of those and you can stand even stronger in communicating who you are to people. So also another trait about with having a defined identity center is that you're pretty immovable in your path. So like I said, he's headstrong on what he wants to do, where he's going to go, and what's best for him. And nothing can stop him. But also another trait of that defined center is having a love of humanity and just loving and embracing the journey of life. And he also spoke about helping people, and he helps people just to help them. Like, he doesn't help them for clout. He doesn't help them to post on social media. He doesn't help them to be like, hey, look what I did, give me my accolades. He just helps people because he cares about people. He's a true humanitarian at heart, and that comes from his defined identity center. So Katt Williams also has a defined will center, and first and foremost, that's just very rare. So Katt Williams, he has a very rare energy within himself anyway, and it makes sense now that I know and I've seen his bodygraph chart, because your will center is your heart center, and it just makes you follow your heart. And so he follows everything that feels aligned with him. He's got consistent willpower to accomplish things. Like, he can think about things and put action into making them happen, and that happens very quickly, like quicker than most can do. So, but in order for him to like really want to do something, his heart has to be in it. It has to be aligned. It has to be purposeful. It has to truly mean something with him. He's not just going to do it, which means he's not just going to put on a dress for a movie because they're going to write him a big ass paycheck and that's what everybody else does. Like, that's not aligned with who I am or what I want. That's not aligned with me at all, period. So no, I'm not going to do it. And that just goes to show that he's kind of mastered his energy in some way. And that doesn't mean that he doesn't have areas to grow, but understanding who you are and standing firm in the energy that you were born with, it seems like he's done that with ease. And I'm not saying he hasn't done any inner work. Everybody hopefully does inner work to become self-aware about who you are. But I'm just saying now, like breaking down his body graph and seeing the energy that he was born with, it's easy to pinpoint those traits within him. And it's cool to see that, like, the things that he has achieved because he knows who he is, and because he stands firmly in who he is, and because he makes aligned decisions, and because he waits to respond to things, and because he knows his purpose and direction in life. And so I just think that that's really cool. Okay, so a few other characteristics for a defined will center. He's bold. He stands on his own 2 feet. He has no problem doing that. He takes control of situations. He kind of he kind of took control over the conversation. Shannon Sharpe asked the questions, but like Katt Williams told his stories firmly, and then when he had something to say, he said it. When he had a point to prove, he did that. So he definitely took control of the situation. And he also said that when he was writing contracts, or like he put certain things in his contracts, and so that means he was taking control of the situation. He was taking control of the contracts he was signing, the work that he was doing, the people he was involving himself with, and that comes from his defined will center. He also has an ability to convince people easily. So with having a defined will center, having a defined throat center, having a defined identity center, and those are just 3 of the centers that he has defined. He also has a defined emotional solar plexus center, but I'm not going to get into that today. He also has a defined spleen center, and I'm not going to get into those today, but you can watch my future videos where I speak about what each center tells us, so that we can come back to that information. But with having a defined throat, defined will, defined identity center, those 3 things in itself make him a very powerful person, because he knows who he is, he knows what he's aligned to do, he knows what his purpose is, he stands strongly in who he is and his direction in life. He's not going to be veered away from that very easily. And also he's able to communicate and bring those things into fruition through his throat center. And so it's like he is where he's meant to be, because he is who he is. He honored his human design, maybe without even knowing what human design is, but he honors himself. He knows himself, and he only makes moves that seem to be aligned with that. And so I think that's really cool. And I hope you learned some things from this video. I hope you can take some of this information, look at your own chart and see what your charts say from having defined centers. I hope you can understand why understanding human design and utilizing it can really be beneficial on your self-discovery journey. It can help you understand a lot about yourself. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. I have an upcoming workshop on January 17th all about human design and relationships. If you want to improve your relationships through communication and feel seen and just understand your partner more, that workshop is for you. It's free. Sign up on Eventbrite. SableDanielle.com is my website, or Eventbrite Sable Danielle. The link is in the description box. And also, if you would like to dive deeper into your own personal human design energy, I offer a personalized bodygraph report where it's over 25 pages all about the detailed energies of you that you were born with. And we'll go over your energy type, your strategy, what your centers say, what the gates say about you, your profile, all the ins and outs of your energy. And I'm kind of a nerd about it. I love it. So yeah, if you're interested in that, details are in the description box, SableDanielle.com if you'd like to order, and catch up on my previous videos if you haven't seen them. We have a series about relationships that I just finished up, and soon to come is the series about what my centers say about me. So stay tuned, turn your notifications on, subscribe, comment below what you think about the video, and have a good day, y'all. Peace.